Comics weekly wrap-up where I share with you the comics/trades I've read for the week. I know that there are quite a few of you who've said that you just don't like superhero graphics or comics, but I do have quite the mix this time around, so I think this might... And I think my next few weekly wrap-ups are probably going to be like this. It's going to be a mixture of superhero and non-superhero books. So the first book that I read this week is Batman and Robin, The Big Burn. I think this one is volume 5. And I really do not understand why it still says Robin. Like, yeah, I know it was the main title of this series, but Robin died back in like volume 3 or something, and why isn't it X'd out? Because Robin's... I'm not going to go on to a rant, but this one is about Two-Face, and it shows his origin in the New 52. There were some really touching scenes that kind of go into how Two-Face had met his wife through Bruce Wayne. I thought that was really interesting. And I thought Two-Face, the New 52 Two-Face, was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And I can't say anymore because I really don't want to spoil it for you guys. But yeah, this was good, but it wasn't that good. So I only rated it 3 out of 5 stars. Because it was just kind of meh. I mean, it did have some highlights, some really good parts. But then there were some parts that were just kind of like really bad. But anyways, after that, I picked up Low. This is volume 1, The Delirium of Hope. This is a new series from Image Comics. And this is one where humanity is forced to live under the sea, in the very deep sea, because the sun, I think, has reached its red supergiant stage or something. So it's set in the distant future where the sun is getting really, really hot and it's really close to Earth. And the artwork, and this is something I gotta be careful what I share with you guys, because this is definitely rated M for mature. This one is for sure not recommended for children. I can't even say recommended for children. You cannot let kids look at this. This has got some pretty graphic stuff in it. It's got like a lot of nudity, sexual content, and violence and all that. But yeah, this is one of the better science fiction comics I've read in a very long time. I really, really enjoyed this one. I thought the artwork was superb. The character development was great. Even though they kind of jump around a little bit through through time, and they kind of speed it up rather fast, and I thought this is so good. If you have not checked this out, you definitely should, especially if you're a fan of science fiction. Because, like I said, this is one of the better science fiction titles that I've read in a very long time. I did rate this one 5 out of 5 stars. And it's written by Rick Remender, who I think he's done some work with the Avengers for Marvel. So he's always been a great comic book writer. I've always liked the stories that he's written. But this was excellent. I really cannot wait to pick up the following trade after this to find out what is going to happen. Because it ends on a cliffhanger, and I was just like, oh no. But yeah, I definitely and highly recommend this one. Okay, next up we have Witch Doctor Volume 1, Under the Knife. This is another Image comic, and this one is about a supernatural house call doctor named Dr. Morrow. This one was, of course, another Goodreads recommendation. It was based off of some book I read a long, long time ago. It was in my recommendations list for a very long time because it was kind of hard to find this copy. And ironically, this copy came from a local college library, from my local city library. So I thought it was kind of It was okay. It does have some elements of Lovecraft in it, and some of the stories, it just pulls from different supernatural things. It was an okay read. It wasn't that great. It wasn't horrible, but it was just okay. And I really don't think that I would be interested in picking up a second volume or further volumes because, like I said, it was just okay. It wasn't that great. After that, I picked up Breath of Bones, Tale of the Golem. This is by Steve Niles, who has done the 30 Days a Night, and of course, as you can see, it is pretty massive. It is considered horror, and it is supernatural. This is all in black and white. And it has to do with World War II, and of course, the Golem, Legend of the Golem. This one was okay as well. It wasn't that great, but it was okay. Next up we have Constantine, Volume 3, The Voice in the Fire. This is a New 52 Constantine, and this is my first exposure to the New 52 Constantine. So I wasn't sure what to expect from this. Now, it is slightly different from the Hellblazer, that this is the original form of this series, but it was okay. I mean, I did anticipate it to be as good as the classic ones, and it just kind of was, it did live up to those. It was okay. It was kind of meh kind of stories. And I don't know if it's because I'm reading Volume 3 or if it's maybe the whole New 52 is like this. I'm not sure, but I only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. After that, I picked up Superman Unchained. Now, this thing looks like a massive volume, but upon reading it, I discovered that it is a very short story. It wasn't as epically big as it appears to be. There's this doomsday type villain that works for the government, and his name is the Wraith. He's kind of like Superman in some ways, but he's more powerful. And that's pretty much the core of the story, is his interactions with Superman. And I'm not going to reveal anymore because I don't want to spoil it in case you want to read it. This was another one that I was really expecting, like, a really, really great story, and then come to find out it was just kind of meh. And about a third of this was covers, so it's like not really as long a story as it looks, because the back part of this is just like alternate covers. I also rated this 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. After that, I read Avengers Volume 2. This is the last White Event. And I'm not sure, but I think this leads into the Secret Wars, because it's one of those things where the world is kind of like ending and things are changing, and it has to do with those new gods on Mars and all of that. And some parts were really good, some parts were really bad, and it had Alpha Flight in it, which was a plus, but they were very short in the book. They introduced this character called a Star Brand, which I had never heard of before. I don't know if it has to do with just this one event or what. But I also rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. It had some good parts, but then it had some really lame parts. Like the ending story had the Master of Kung Fu in it. Shang-Chi, I think his name is. It just really wasn't that great. So this was another 3 out of 5 star book. Okay, so this is where I'm going to end my weekly wrap-up with the Avengers Time Runs Out Part 1. This, I'm assuming, I'm not going to say that I know for sure, because I don't read the monthly books every month. So I'm going to just say and throw this out there that I think this leads into the Secret Wars, because it's a part of this storyline that the Avengers have been doing, where, you know, the universe is dying, the multiverse is kind of like parts of the multiverse are dying. And this one, I kind of really didn't feel like this was a really strong story, mostly because I don't really know these incarnations of these characters all that well. I don't know that these are the same Marvel superheroes from the traditional comics that I am used to. Because for one, they have this Thor who, if I remember right, I think he picked up this battle axe that was originally his old weapon before he had Mjolnir. So, but he looks so radically different. And they've got, you know, this Supreme guy, and he's like Jesus with a beard. And I don't know. And like some of the old X-Men New Mutants are like a part of the Avengers now. So I really wasn't sure what to think of this. It does have Tony Stark and, of course, the Hulk and all that. And they're still the Illuminati or whatnot. But I don't know what to think of this. I really only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. I do have the other 2 parts to this. I don't know how soon I'm going to get to them. But, you know, I just thought it was okay. I mean, for such a major event like Secret Wars, I kind of expected, like, you know, an event where the world is dying. I kind of expected a little more out of it. And that's why I guess I was kind of let down by this. I mean, it didn't suck, but it wasn't great. It was just sort of okay. And I'm hoping that the other 2 parts to this story kind of make it better. Well, anyways, I want to end by saying, as I always say, questions, comments, if you've read any of these, let me know what you thought of them down below. And thanks for watching. Till next time, later guys.